It's funny, isn't it, how sometimes in life we can find ourselves caught in the most interesting little loops. Those moments where it feels like the same argument, the same feeling, the same emotional tension keeps pulling you in, like a magnet that's been hidden somewhere in the room. You lean in, and there it is again. The urge to be right, to hold on, to resist. But what if there was another way? What if right now you could just take a deep breath, breathe in deeply, feel that pause, and as you do, begin to notice something. That pause is power. Because in that space, just between reaction and response, there's freedom. And when you take that pause, you begin to see everything differently. It's like standing on a hill and seeing the whole valley beneath you. Suddenly, what seemed so close, so urgent, feels manageable, small, distant. And that gives you choice. And choice is interesting, isn't it? Sometimes you might choose to respond. Sometimes you might walk away. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. You felt that before, haven't you? That sweet release when you just let go. And suddenly, the fight that felt so important, it just dissolves. And that's the secret most people never see. Real power isn't about winning every time. Sometimes true power is stepping back. True power is knowing when to walk away. True power is being able to redirect, to shift the energy, to channel it into something new, something useful, something far more satisfying. Because when you redirect, everything changes. It's a little like moving water through a river. If you push too hard against it, the current fights back. But if you gently guide it, just a little shift in direction, the water flows easily, smoothly, bending to your will without resistance. And questions, they're magic. They slip past defences, opening doors without anyone noticing. A well-placed question is a key that unlocks certainty and transforms it into curiosity. Because certainty is rigid, brittle, so easy to break. But curiosity is flexible, open, playful. When you inject just a tiny seed of doubt, just the smallest question, it takes root, grows, and before you know it, that once solid belief becomes something softer, smoother, looser, something open to new ideas. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine feeling triggered, feeling that rising tension, and simply breathing, pausing, stepping back, seeing the whole picture. And in that bigger picture, suddenly, it's all so much easier, so much lighter. You don't need to be right all the time. You don't always need to win. Sometimes the best win is just freedom. Freedom from arguments. Freedom from the need to be right. It's okay to let go. It's okay to walk away. It's okay to smile, shift your attention, and use that energy for something far more exciting and meaningful. And in that moment, you've won already, because you've taken control of what matters most. Not the situation, not the outcome, but your mind, your state, your focus. The breath, the pause, the questions. They're your tools now. Powerful tools. You can use them anytime, anywhere. And the more you do, the easier it gets. It's natural, automatic. And from this moment on, whenever you feel that emotional charge begin to rise, a calm voice inside will remind you. Step back, breathe, see the bigger picture. You'll smile knowing that you don't have to push or pull. You can just pivot, redirect, channel that energy into something better. And each time you do, you'll feel lighter, freer, more at ease. It's almost amusing how easily those old patterns just dissolve. And the best part, every breath reinforces it. Every pause strengthens it. Every question deepens it until it becomes second nature. So just breathe, step back, and enjoy how effortless it feels now. You know, it's fascinating how the mind works. It's like a master weaver, spinning intricate patterns of thoughts, beliefs, and experiences, tying them together so seamlessly that sometimes you don't even realize a pattern is formed. One thread connects to another, looping around and around, until it feels like there's no way out, no other option but the one in front of you. It's a bit like being caught in a story, isn't it? A story that keeps repeating itself, as if it's written on a loop, telling you there are only two choices: stay stuck or struggle harder. But here's the thing about those stories. They're just patterns, and patterns that can always be rewoven, redirected, remade. Double binds, those tricky little mental traps. They're some of the oldest patterns that there are. They're the moments when it feels like no matter what you choose, you'll lose. Should I go left or right? Both seem wrong. Do I speak up or stay quiet? Either way, there's tension. Do I fight harder or let go? Neither feels satisfying. It's like being caught between a rock and a hard place, where every option feels like a trap. But here's the secret no one tells you. A double bind is never real. It's an illusion created by the mind, a clever trick that only works if you believe in it. Once you notice it for what it is, something magical happens. You begin to see the cracks in the illusion, and you start to realise there's always a third option. An option outside the frame. An option that exists the moment you step back and expand your perspective. It's like playing a game where the rules were never meant to be followed. They're meant to be broken because the mind loves choice, loves movement. When the mind feels trapped, it isn't really stuck. It's just waiting for you to change direction, to breathe, to pause, to notice. But the game isn't left or right, fight or flee. The game is stepping outside the box entirely. Then suddenly that pressure, that tension begins to fade. Because when you realise you don't have to play by the old rules, everything softens. You're free to move in ways that were hidden before. Imagine that for a moment. Imagine being caught in one of those old double binds. You feel it, you sense it, and then you step back, breathe, see the bigger picture. And as you do, something shifts inside. You realise there's a third choice, and a fourth, and a fifth. And with each breath, more choices appear. You might smile to yourself in that moment, remembering these double binds, they're nothing more than clever puzzles. And puzzles, they're meant to be solved. Because deep down, your mind already knows how to do this. It's been solving puzzles since the beginning. Rewiring connections, shifting perspectives, finding new ways. It's like a key sliding into place in a lock that's been there all along. Click. And the most beautiful part, breaking free from a double bind, is the easiest thing in the world. You don't have to force it. You don't have to fight it. You simply step back, breathe, and see the wider frame. You're always bigger than the bind. The bind only exists in a narrow frame. And the moment you widen your view, the bind dissolves on its own. It's a little like magic, isn't it? That feeling of sudden freedom, that sense of expansion, of space opening up inside you. And once you've felt that, it's hard not to notice those moments everywhere. Every time you feel trapped, you remember, there's always another option. I can always breathe, step back, and see the bigger picture. And the bind becomes smaller and smaller, until it's almost funny how it ever seems so important, because from that expanded perspective, you start to see double binds for what they are, not obstacles but opportunities. Opportunities to change the game entirely. Opportunities to laugh, to redirect, to choose something unexpected and creative. Opportunities to play, to explore, to feel light again. And from that place, you're unstoppable. No longer limited by old patterns. No longer bound by false choices. You're free to create, to move, to live fully and joyfully, knowing that every challenge contains a hidden opening, just waiting for you to find it. So the next time you feel that tension rising, pause, breathe, step back, and watch how the bind unravels on its own. And as it does, feel the excitement of the freedom spreading inside you, like the softest light filling every corner of your mind, because you've known how to do this. And now, it's simply natural.